Call to order, Borough of Crafton, regular meeting on July 28th, 2014. Flag salute, let's do flag salute by Mr. Amendola, since he's here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Ms. Amendola. Yes. Mr. O'Brien is absent. Mr. Phillips.
Here.
Ms. Post. Here. Ms. Waitzel. Here. Mr. Hayes.
Here.
Mayor Bloom.
Here.
Solicitor Daley.
Here.
Engineer Minsterman.
Here.
Andrew Beachy. Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the bill list dated July 28th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill list? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Waitzel. Yes. Mr. Hayes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion for the, thank you. Sorry, I should have announced this after the flag salute. We had an executive session prior to this meeting, no action was taken.
Discuss personnel.
Oh, I'm sorry, to discuss personnel matters.
No vote was taken.
No vote was taken, no action was taken. Thank you. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes dated June 23rd, 2014.
I'm so sorry. It's the next slide.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the minutes of June 23rd, 2014? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Waitzel. Yes. And Mr. Hayes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes, July 14th, 2014.
So moved.
I'm sorry, I have to withdraw my vote. I wasn't here for the June meeting. I held it on July.
Motion would still
I abstain.
abstain, motion would still pass previous. So the July 13th was moved by Mr. Amendola and seconded by Ms. Amendola. Any discussion on the minutes for July 14th, 2014? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Waitzel. Yes. And Mr. Hayes.
Yes. All right, now we'll move into citizens' comments. We have 5 people signed up. I'd ask that you step forward, state your name and address, and please speak into the microphone. And we are going to start with Susan Muka.
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 My name is Susan Muga. I live at 269 Clearview Avenue, and I'm here for a couple of reasons. One, to thank members of the council for their intervention in March of this year to save the 4 London plane trees on Clearview Avenue that were to be taken down for the road project. They and many trees like them are Crafton's resources, and I'm thanking the Borough Council for urging the parties to find a solution that included saving the trees. We're still in the same project, Phase 3 Clearview Avenue storm sewer construction, and we have another very serious issue that we need to bring to your attention. The fact that Morante Construction, under the direction of Gateway Engineering, is compromising the root systems of all the trees along the bioswales. Mary Luxberger and I were down on the trail last Wednesday evening, and in an area from Harris Avenue to Willard, which is approximately 400 feet, there were over 40 trees that we counted that had their root systems compromised. Just a second, I need to. Do you mind to pass this out, Ron? Thanks. I have some pictures of that. I meant to pass them out first, but I forgot. So these are the pictures of the trees on Clearview Trail and the roots that have been compromised by the work that they're doing there with heavy equipment. Now, given everything that we went through in March to get people to save the trees, why would anyone think that it's okay to go and just dig up the roots of trees like that? If I knew in advance that this was happening, I would have been down here to proactively lobby against it. It's too late to do that now. We have 40 trees that are probably going to be lost over the next 5 years because the trees are open, the roots have just been not cut, but just ripped apart by the heavy equipment. And it allows, they can't take up water whenever they don't have their roots, and they are open for disease and rot. So that's a lot of damage on a hillside that's already pretty compromised. So I'm here to request that we don't do any more bioswale digging until we figure out a way to do it without destroying any more of our trees along that area. Now the cost, just to give you an idea, I'm saying there are 40 trees there in this one 400-foot section, and we know that's probably 1/4 of the area, maybe not even that much. And I called Phelps to put in a 2-inch caliper tree, which is the average size tree that's put in, delivered and placed in the ground. It's $400 a tree. So just for those, we're talking $15,000, almost $16,000 worth of trees that are being destroyed in this project. And I don't think that's what council or the citizens of Crafton want from their construction company and their engineering company. So I'd like to stop the dredging until we can figure out a solution. And who's going to pay for to have those trees replaced? Now, I do have a sample here, just so you can see. Pictures are one thing, but actually seeing how these tree roots have just been ripped apart. This belonged to a tree. It was supposed to provide water and nutrients. Just ripped out. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next is Robin Anthony.
Yes, my name is Robin Anthony. Live at 1715 Crafton Boulevard. And I was head of the tree commission for 8 years, and I'm also wanted just to add a couple of things to what Susan said. First of all, as a geologist, I want to say that digging down to create that swale on a steep hillside that has been mined out for coal, and also with the kind of rocks that we have in the Pittsburgh region, makes it very landslide prone. You really don't want to dig out the toe of that steep slope. You'd rather build it up. And I really thought when they were going to put bioswales to address the issue, that they were going to put those silt socks along the area, rather than digging down, that they were going to lay silt socks for the ones that had been disintegrating. They were going to put new ones. Because really, when you look at the economic cost, if that hill starts sliding, you have millions of dollars worth of homes above it, and that would, you don't want that to start happening. And also to take out the trees that might die. They might survive and they might die because of what the root systems have been compromised. Because usually a root system of tree will go about a third beyond what the crown of the tree does. So when you just take it out to a little bit of area around the trunk like that, not only can't it absorb the excess water, which is also going to cause more erosion on the hill and make it further destabilize that slope, but also you're looking at the cost of removing trees. Crafton can't really afford to remove the dead trees in there now, let alone more. So I would really urge them to use the technology of the silt socks and the bioswales and not dig any further into those slopes. You can't undo what they've done, but I would also say do not do any more dredging. And also, we have saplings that they're cutting in between those trees, and there's no reason for them to be cutting down those saplings. Those saplings, what you want on a steep slope is a heavily forested area. That is the best design for a steep slope because it does pick up the extra water. Right now, we are getting, the saplings there are hardwood species. There are walnuts, several species of oak, buckeye, walnuts, elm trees. So we're not getting the single species maple that we had been, or the locust tree and cherry tree that had been gotten. What we're getting now, the saplings are coming up now, are the climax trees for the area, are a hardwood, so that in 30 years we'll have a good hardwood forest there if they don't keep cutting out those saplings. So they need to leave the saplings, and also they need to think of what if that wasn't a park? What if that was a row of houses? Would they completely clear cut the whole area just to put in a sewer on the top of the road and to put in a couple drainage areas coming down? Or would they be more careful? I just want them to treat our public areas like it was their own private property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Frank Ragone.
Frank Ragone, 18 Bell Avenue. I didn't come as prepared as this group did, but I wanted to bring your attention, once again, the 18 Bell Alleyway and the adjacent alley going up from Broadhead. Over the last 3 years, I've been trying to work with the city of Grafton, or Township of Grafton, to have that alley repaved. Since the 2010 storm, the pavement was dug up. At this point, it's mud. In the wintertime, I have to get a running start to get into my garage. My driveway's been ruined. I've had it graveled about 4 times. And I think the last thing you guys did was throw about 200 yards of gravel or dirt down behind 14 Bell Avenue. This is Regenstall's home. And it really didn't do anything. At this point, the mosquitoes are bad, the overgrowth is bad. You can't see around the corners coming out of the Bell Alley onto the main alleyway. And that's dangerous for the kids. I spoke to the Allegheny Environmental Agency about the mosquitoes. They contacted you. They said something would be done in June. Nothing was ever done. And basically, I can't. It's the damage to the car because you come out the other way at 18 Bell by the antique store. There is no road. It's just a bunch of ditches, and it's causing damage to my car, my driveway, and my garage. I know myself and the neighbors have spent money on their property, cut down the trees and re-gravel to keep the area looking clean. But we need something done, and I've been trying to get you guys to do this for 3 years now since the storm to repave the alleyways.
Okay,
And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
thank you for your comments. Next is Pam Palchowski.
Pam Polchowski, 11 Bradford Avenue. Part of Celebrate, and as you know, we've been doing flamingo flocking, which is going very, very well. Except, and this is trivia to the flamingos, but as a flocker, going out in the dark, flocking all of the neighbors in Clapton, it's really hard to know where we're going because houses do not have the 4-inch numbers. So I don't know how the paramedics do it, and that's really my concern. It's not the flamingos, but knowing that we're having this issue trying to find houses that aren't marked, So just throwing it out there, maybe when the apartments are, changing over and they have to be inspected, maybe whoever inspects the apartments can also inspect to make sure that there's letters on the buildings, numbers on the buildings, so that it's visible to whoever. So, but it's just a safety issue.
Okay, thank you very much. And last on the list, is Jacqueline Lavasser.
Jacqueline Levisser, 401 Clearview Avenue. I just wanted to talk about the erosion and sedimentation control issues for the corner of Harrison and Clearview Avenue. There's tons of rain, as we all know and are experiencing it, and it's degrading the road. There's no curbs on one side of Harris Road, and it's just pulling up all the gravel that the construction crews have put down, where the brick isn't there, the gravel's coming up, and the actual sedimentation underneath the gravel is being pulled up, and all of this is going into our brand new drains that are put in. And also, the water wants to take the path of least resistance, and that would be the side with no curbs, and it's easy for it to go through, create its own path. It's not gonna magically just hop up on the curb once it reaches it. It's going to continue underneath the brick, creating a void between the brick and the road and the ground underneath it, which is a hazard. And it's not it's creating a hazard for the roadway because it's making it unstable. So the upper cut for the drain that they had to put in about halfway up the hill, that is assisting within. It's not just coming, the rain's just not coming down the sides and creating a void with the bricks on the side and eroding the dirt underneath. It's creating it down the middle of the roadway, which is going underneath the bricks in the middle of the roadway, pushing some of the bricks up and creating that void that I was talking about. So I just wanted to make sure that that was brought to your attention, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I will entertain a motion for receipt of the written reports for June 2014, including the Treasurer's Report, Financial Report, Act 511 and Trash Collection Report, Property Tax Collection Report, the Police Report, the REMS Report, and Engineer's Report.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those reports? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Amendola?
yes,
Mr. Amendola?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post? Yes. Ms. Weitzel? Yes. Mr. Hayes?
Yes. Do we have a mayor's report tonight?
Very short. The new officer that was hired will be starting Friday, August 1st. We're at 7 o'clock in the morning. I've spoken with Chief Sumter. I've been out of time, but I spoke with Chief Sumter while I was away, and that everything's moving along, and as far as qualifications, that he's ready to go come Friday morning.
Good news. Any questions for the mayor? Okay, we'll move to the engineer's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Essentially, we have the completion of the 2013 road program. Finally, all of the punch list items have been resolved, and that project is officially closed. 2014 road work, both on Crafton Boulevard and Woodlawn, is complete. We're at a point now, we'll walk and do a punch list item, and anything that needs to be done or addressed will be handled in the next week or so. So that the majority of that work is complete and looks pretty good. We'll, like I said, we'll do a walkthrough for assessment of the specific specifications and creating a punch list that will need to be addressed. Clearview Avenue is proceeding. We're about 50% complete. Just a reminder that it is an active construction zone. There are the responsibility of the contractor to maintain drainage and control any damage done by water, uncontrolled water as a result of their project is their responsibility. That will be require the contractor to fix and maintain. It's not something that they can walk away from. They have control of the entire site as it relates to drainage and especially a lot of the water that you've had over the weekend. So I actually got some pictures of some of the ruts that were created, and we'll just make sure those get addressed properly so that the system is not compromised. The system is being installed, the drainage system. Also, as part of an active construction zone, even installing the bioswale. The original plan was to install a bioswale along the trail, parallel with the trail. There is a subtle swale there now. The problem is in reinstalling the proper design of a bioswale, there are trees that would need to be removed. So we were able to avoid removing any trees or proposing to remove any trees by meandering the bioswale once again, which requires some excavation. So some of the comments that I think you've heard are root structures that have been removed to install the bioswale. So although we see them as not being very significant in as far as what's needed to be installed to control water coming off the hillside. So all of that bioswale will be dressed, and those roots will be covered, and you know, the system will be put back into its original condition. So we think that the compromise of meandering the bioswale through the trees and avoiding removal of the trees is a better process than obviously completely removing trees so that we have a straight bioswale. So once again, when you look at a construction zone, it looks kind of hairy, and that's where we are right now in the middle of active construction. The contractor has responsibility for the site for 2 years as a result of a 2-year maintenance bond. And what we've seen so far, that it's not reckless, it's not, there is great care still being provided for the trees. The contractor is highly aware of the desire for the community to maintain the trees, and that's one of the primary focuses during construction, excavation. So what you see out there is the least amount of disturbed area that can be utilized and still install the bioswale, which we are required to install as part of the project and as part of the grant approval. So although things seem upsetting, in my experience, it really isn't. It might look that way on the surface, but I see this going very well. So that's all I have as it relates to engineer's report. There's some of the sewer repair work is still, through the Shea Call contract, is still being planned. It's not August or September, so the next report we'll talk about when we actually get on the schedule to do some of the televising and excavation and repair work for the sewer system. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the engineer? One question?
Rick, I do have a question that was brought up about the tree roots that were compromised by the bioswale that get them installed. If you have a tree, and I'm looking at these pictures that were provided, what generally, and I don't know anything about trees, so maybe Robert, what percentage of a tree root system would have to be destroyed to destroy the tree? In other words, if you take a couple sections of roots out, does that kill the tree, or can the tree survive? I mean, I've seen the water company, they'll come in, they'll have a water break, and it's near a tree, and they just cut straight down, and you'll see hunks of tree root that were cut off.
Yeah.
Does that kill the tree, or does the tree survive?
Yeah, I can't say that I know. I can only say that I think the disturbance is very minimal. And I think that a tree with minimal disturbance can survive. I've seen significant destruction of roots and a tree still survive. But you know, it's you don't know what other symptoms are in a tree. It could be partially diseased. It could be weak to begin with. So sometimes minor disruption could kill the tree. But a healthy tree is, in my opinion, and through my experience, is not killed through light disruption or even removal of roots, of surface roots.
So then, let's say next growing season, after fall, the leaves fall off, you're not gonna see where the trees were partial, the roots were taken out. You're not gonna see half a tree next spring.
No.
It's gonna have.
I don't think at all, no. I think what you'll see is, you'll see a bioswale installed. The roots actually will receive water through the bioswale. Once again, these are very shallow roots. It's not disturbing anything deep within the tree itself. And it's only on a small portion of the tree. It's not even all the roots around the tree on the surface. So, once again, you know, it's a balancing act to get the system installed the way it needs to be, and under our recommendation, it does not appear that the trees are compromised to a point where they're going to die.
Thank you.
I would ask anyone that has comments on that, reserve it until the section of the agenda where you can have additional citizen comments. You'll have an opportunity.
We have a question? Do we have to stand?
You can ask your question then, but we will. You may or may not answer, but just save your comments until the end. It's not proper to talk now. Any other questions for the engineer's report? Okay, thank you. Manager's report.
I do not have a written manager's report. Instead, I'm compiling a transition report for council. I do have one last plea. The gala Under the Stars is August the 9th. We're voraciously selling tickets. Anybody that has not gotten their tickets for the August 9th affair from 7 to 10 at Crafton Pool, please see me, or I will see you, one way or the other, to collect those tickets and come to a really great event, which will actually be my last day in the borough. So I'd love to see everybody there.
Anything else? No. Okay. Any questions on the gala? All right. I don't have anything additional to report at the moment, so let's move into correspondence. Ingram Resolution, Planning Grant, Allegheny County. Who can speak to that?
That Ingram is still on board with the multi-municipal plan. They have sent over their resolution, agreeing to the application to Allegheny County, and Roslyn Farms is officially out of the multi-municipal plan. I did learn that there are some monies available through DCED. As I reported earlier, there was not. There are some monies. They look to fund about $200,000 in the state of Pennsylvania, so there is a possibility that Crafton could get some small funds. I understand that you will be with DCED on Thursday, so Zweitzel can probably update you further on that. But that was good news. They look to probably be funding about 10 to 12 municipal plans across the state of Pennsylvania. So again, you know, it's still a small opportunity, considering that Crafton is considering the implementable strategy. I think they would look more favorably on that as opposed to just a regular comprehensive plan. So that was good news to hear today.
Okay. And the CVFD audit report, who can speak to that? Fred? Can anyone? No?
They're in the process, and they have their attorneys working on it. There have been some setbacks, but they're moving along.
Okay, all right. Let's move to the business agenda. I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2014-12, appointing the auditing firm of Case Sabatini to conduct the 2013 annual financial audit of the borough, and releasing the auditing firm of Hossack, Speck, Mutual, and Wool LLP due to non-performance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Ms. Post. Any discussion on this motion? Did you have something you wanted to say on this motion? Once we talked?
Well, we are getting, actually, the audit was supposed to have been started in January, it's supposed to be finished before June. We're already at the end of July. This firm has not even started our audit yet. To go on with what we have now is useless. The firm we used to have, we let go because of a reason that I'm finding out was not their fault. There was an error in their auditing that was not due to their control.
Well, to be fair, we were moving away from them also just to have another set of eyes.
Yes.
Every 3 to 5 years or so, it's not a bad idea to switch auditors. This was the time frame upon which we did that, but for non-performance, they're not actually doing the audit. So, the previous auditor is willing to do it at the same price, the same bid price as what would have been the new auditor. We will still put this out for bid in future years, but to expedite the audit this year, especially since we're behind, hence the motion. Any other discussion?